Good evening all. So with our famous introduction, we start and we will talk about a very interesting and a very important topic, which is about trust. What are the things that can help us to understand other people and to trust them? How do we trust other people, and what is the importance of trust for building a cohesive and close community? A feature that makes your community the kind of community that you want to live with, the kind of community that you hope that your whole life will be around people that you trust, around people that you can take care of, or they can take care of you. So this is the whole dream of many people, that at least they are surrounded by people they can trust. If by any chance there was any problem in their life, they have someone they can trust, and they have someone that they can depend on. So how do we develop trust against other people, and how we can understand, is this person a trustworthy or not? So usually the society has made different group of stereotypes to help people trust each other or distrust each other. So they always refer to the good and evil. They always refer to the rich and poor. They always refer to the, let me say, to the survival. This guy is a survival, or they refer to some people, this person only take care of his interests. So there are different stereotypes that our community or the global community has created around different people, and sometimes they just describe them by their political party. They say this is Tory, this is conservative, and they say this is Labour, this is a comrade. And there are different ways of trying to understand the ethical direction and the behavior of different people by trying to group them within a group of stereotypes. However, in our modern days, these kinds of stereotypes are not effective, and in many cases, it's not as useful as other cases. So, in order is not as useful as they should be, or they according to the original creation purpose. So, in order to understand for a particular person the behavior of a particular person, you need to understand his behavior. And you need to understand his behavior based on different situations. So some people call it situational analysis, or some kind of a similar way of describing things. However, it's not always the right way of understanding people, because you might label them under a particular label which they are not. However, so let's give an example of a situational analysis case. So you want to understand if this person will steal or not, and it's quite an important aspect, that you say, if we have put a phone in front of this, if I put my phone in a room which is surrounded with people that I trust or I don't trust, and I left it there, would I expect my phone disappear, and my phone is a new phone, and my phone is a phone that everyone wants to have, or would I expect that it will stay there? So based on this kind of case, you would understand this kind of people. Maybe I can trust that they will not steal from me. Maybe I can trust that they will not that they will not behave against my will, and so on. So there is this is an important case where you try to understand the behavior of different people based on different situations. And sometimes it's good for you to understand another situation. So you need to understand, for example, how the person will behave if how does the person will behave in a, let me say, in a particular context. Let us say, would this person harm others? Would this person use violence? So that's a good way of looking at things. So would this person use violence against others if he was if someone attacked him? And some people will definitely use violence, while you would think others will not try to defend themselves, or will actually run away. How this person will behave in this context, and based on that, you would understand how this person will behave, and based on that, you try to understand whether this is something, is this a person that we can trust, or this person we can't trust. So understanding behavior is a key element for people to trust each other. So if you understand how people will behave in different situations, and you say, this guy will never steal, this guy will never lie, this guy will never tell a bad, this guy will never give, let me say, a dishonest analysis, or this guy will never deceive someone else, this guy will never cheat on us, and that's a good way of trusting someone. So, and this maybe this person will never do something against another person well, and so on. So that's about trust and understanding people's behavior. And maybe another context which be about business with the motives. So that's about understanding people's behavior, and that's the first block that you need to understand in order to understand other people. And the other one is about understanding people's motives. And this is a very interesting one, because you should always understand what makes people act, what are the differences between people who act based on, let me say, their interest, based on their money, based on their relationships, based on their desire to feel free, based on their desire to feel special. What are people's motives and what makes them commit a particular act? It could be a crime and it could be a normal one. Why people study hard? Why people let me say train? Why people steal? Why people even let me say spend long time with others? So there are sometimes you can understand the motives of different people, and based on that you can even understand them more and try and develop a particular level of trust. So in my life, I always was interested in people who would never act, I would never care about their actions, but as long as they did not, as long as they will never intentionally harm someone, and as long as they would always be there to help, and as long as their motives is not associated with material things rather than associated with the greater goals, I think these criteria are someone I can trust. However, if someone I can trust, it does not mean this person I can spend some time with. So sometimes the people we trust are not the best people that we can spend our time with. Some people, the people that we don't trust, are the people that we really enjoy spending our time with. So trust is not associated with enjoyment, but trust is associated with stability. It's associated with having a group of friends that you can depend on, and that you can always rely on, and that you can always expect a consistent behavior from this group. The third thing is about feelings, and understanding the person feelings towards different objects, towards different situations, actually help you to understand how he behaved, and how he behaved you trust him more or trust him less. And this thing is highly associated with, let me say, this thing is highly associated with the age of the person. So sometimes you can really understand the feeling of person, and in many cases you can't understand. And in childhood, it's very easy to understand these people. They become kids, they become excited about different things. You can understand their feelings of joy, their feeling of frustration, their feeling of anger easily. You can understand that they sometimes, if they are playing, this is the thing that they want to do, and this is what they really like, and this is what how they want to spend their time. Sometimes you understand if you are close to them, they just want to spend some time with you. So with kids, it's very easy to understand let me say, the feeling or the emotions of another person. However, with older people, and let me say, people who become expert in life or become expert in different situations, and a good example is about a businessman who have been given a great opportunity, who thinks that this opportunity is a great. Some businessmen will not even react to the opportunity, will just say, well, this is something we can look at, we are not sure about. And they would act in a professional way, that somehow alienate emotions out of the picture. And you start to think maybe they will need it because of their previous behavior. Maybe they will act towards this opportunity because of their motives. And in reality, this is how you understand the person. So usually, when you have childhood friends, when you have these people who show their emotions in an early stage, you can really understand them in a much better way than people when they are older, when they become part of, let me say, of a much sophisticated and a more complex social situation. Understanding person's greater goal is also another factor that can help you to trust each other. So what is the person's goals? Where does he want to be? Some people does not have goals. Others have a very strict goals, and that with timeline that they want to achieve this point at this particular time, and they want to be there at this particular time, and they want to reflect this image, and this is how they behave, and this is how you should react to them, and so on. So this is actually a group of things that help you to develop the trust against different people and to understand, is this a person I can trust? Is this a person I can't trust? And based on that, you should try to build your social mechanisms and how do you act towards different people. And based on that, you become more aware of the people around you, and you become more aware of the situations that you will be put in, and with the people that you trust, and you always choose the people you trust and the people that you can always rely on. Now, about trust. So what happens if trust was broken, or if trust is broken? And in some cases, it will never come back, and these cases are very difficult to manage, and these cases needs a very long time. And it depends. It's about just a kid stealing from his mother, or it's about someone like got betrayed. So, and sometimes betrayal lead to death. So don't underestimate the consequence of putting your trust in the wrong person. This can have, let me say, this can have significant consequences that might affect your life. Whether you put your emotions, and I have seen many wives feels betrayed, feels that they have put a lot in the relationships, and they end up with someone who betrayed them with another woman, and this is how they see, like, cheating with another woman is some kind of betrayal. And I also seen it in some form of business partners. People started to look out for their own interest and for their own goals, and sometimes it's really destroy the relationships among friends. So you should really understand the trust, the people that you trust, and what will happen if a particular person act in a way that led to a situation of distrust. The situation of distrust always can be dealt with communication. You should always communication. You should make a lot of communication, because the theoretical framework or your understanding of this particular person and understanding of his behavior has suddenly come under shock. So you need always to communication and explain yourself and act again and build trust again and gain your trust again, in order to keep this framework, the trustworthiness guy, in its place. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard, but what I'm always sure of, that it will take time. So if this, if the people understanding of your behavior, of your emotions, of your motives, of different things come under a shock, it will take a very long time for these people to build this framework again, or keep this framework in its place. So it's about trust. Do we trust these people? Do we not, or we don't trust them? This is the kind of questions that we always ask ourselves, and this is the kind of questions that you should base your relationship on, because at the end of the day, you would always want to spend your time with people you trust. You would always want to spend your time with people who will never harm you. And this is really what is people should be thinking about. That was my talk for tonight. I wish you a great, trustful relationships. I wish you a number of, let me say, fruitful relationships that end up with a great level of joy, and trust is part of this. So we wish you a great evening. That was my talk for tonight. See you tomorrow, same time, same place, 8:45 p.m. Amman time in English, 8:30 p.m. Amman time in Arabic, and have a great day.